we are going to cover up aspects of managing emotions. How do you manage your emotions? And the 4 principles that I'm going to share with you today that can help you manage your emotions. Emotions are the foundation of our experiences. However we feel within ourselves is coming from the place of the processing of the thought, which eventually are felt in the body and mind as emotion. And if these emotions are making you feel depressed, sad, uneasy, then obviously they are sort of becoming a hindrance in terms of your daily functioning, in terms of your experiences of life, in your growth path. And it also sometimes causes us to experience debilitating anxiety, panic, or any sort of mental health issues. It is extremely important for us to pay attention to how we manage our emotions. And some of the ways that I'm going to share with you are truly coming from my personal experience, because I've had a lot of issues and a lot of struggle with anxiety, and I've gone through multiple types of emotional setbacks in my life that led me into feeling like a victim, feeling that I was not good enough, feeling that I am always going to be in this rut where I can't just find out what am I good at. I felt lost pretty much in my adult life till the age of, I'd say, 30, 31. And I was going by the rules that society has for all of us. And at times we succumb to those experiences and those limitations because we don't know how to go beyond them and how to manage ourselves, how to manage our emotions, to basically use these emotions as catalysts for growth. So with this type of mindset where I encourage myself to shift my emotional landscape from feeling like a victim to victor, we can change the narrative, we can change our life, we can build a great life with lots and lots of power and magnificence and usefulness and impact. And that's what I'm here to talk about. So let me know in the comments below if you are ready to spend next 10-15 minutes in finding these principles relatable to your life and taking something to apply in your life that is going to move the needle for you, that is going to make you feel that you have control over how you feel. Life is not only happening to you, but you are making life happen. You are not just reacting to life, but you are responding to life events, and you do have the power to change the story of your life. Understand what I'm going to share with you is super powerful. I've experimented with this in my life. I do this experimentation every day because, as I said before, I deal with anxiety. I've dealt with depression. I've taken medications. I know what stress can do to you when it is not handled properly. So the very first principle, rather than repressing emotion, accept them. When we repress our emotions, when we deny how we feel, we basically disconnect from our true self. We are not able to see through what is happening in our experience, and we cover it up with distractions. How do we cover it up? We go and spend time with our friends. We participate in conversations and activities that are not actually healing us, that are not making us more self-aware and strong, but we are draining our energy further into those conversations. We are not understanding how to move beyond these emotions. We're just putting them under the shelf, and we are not really asking ourselves, what do I need right now to feel better? So instead of engaging yourself in distractions, the idea is to embrace what is happening. If you are feeling a certain way, it is your body and mind's way of telling you that you need to pay attention to this particular aspect of your life rather than avoid looking at it, rather than suppressing it. There is no question of you discarding how you feel, because whatever you're feeling is your truth. Whatever you're experiencing is your truth. How can you not look at the truth of your being? The emotion is surfacing because it is tied up with a thought. And if a thought is coming from the place of a past experience, or the narrative that you're telling yourself, or the story that is limiting, or the beliefs that are holding you back, if you are just going to discard that emotion, you're never going to be able to find the root cause of why you feel the way you feel. So the first is embrace how you feel rather than suppressing. Allow yourself to be present with it. And second very important principle is to understand and identify the type of emotion. Oftentimes we think that we're just sad or depressed or feeling low, but you'll be surprised that different types of emotional experiences, starting from the lower vibrational energy, which is anger, hostility, rage, jealousy, to the next layer, which is anxiety and worry, to the next layer, which is disappointment, concerns, to then top layer of being neutral and indifferent, to the topmost layer, which is self-actualized, feeling great, feeling ecstatic, feeling on purpose, feeling that you do have a lot more energy. So there are different layers. So the bottom layer is about jealousy, rage, conflicts, negativity, and depression, sadness, anger. Then you go up, you go to the next layer of feeling anxiety, but still indifferent. And then we go to the next stages where we start to notice that, hey, I'm feeling bored. Now, there's a difference between feeling bored and feeling frustrated. Do not confuse these two emotions together. Feeling bored is entirely different than feeling frustrated. Feeling frustrated is about not accepting what is happening in the moment, whereas feeling bored could be lack of energy, lack of enthusiasm. So these two are very different emotions. So start to identify what you feel in a moment rather than just saying, oh, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling agitated. You might just be feeling indifferent. You might just be feeling bored. So notice, what is this feeling telling you? The more you stay with the feeling, the more you have the ability to dig deeper and really find the essence of that experience. What is this experience telling me? And how do I make myself feel better? Now, you know that there are 25 different types of emotions that your mind plays around with. You can always jump to the next level, jump to the next level, jump to the next level. If right now you're feeling agitated, and you realize that I'm feeling agitated because things are not going the way I want them to go, the next question becomes, what can I do in this moment to make myself feel better? Okay, I can make something happen. Maybe I can just go for a walk and feel better. Now you moved up from feeling agitated to feeling neutral, right? So getting from agitation to neutral is a progress. Don't try to jump from agitation to happiness, because that's a little bit of a longer stretch. From neutral, you start to feel connected. From connected, you start to feel joyfulness. So there are different layers that you're jumping up. And this is very important because we identify ourselves as to be either happy or sad. No, there's a lot of stuff that is going on in between that you need to identify. And as you continue to build on this vibration from the lower to the higher, you'll notice that you automatically are lifting yourself up and starting to feel better, thereby improving your chances of getting to the highest vibration emotion. The third extremely important principle to manage your emotions is to become mindful. When you're mindful of what is happening in your body and mind, you become mindful of the experiences and the patterns that you've built over time. Now, most of us have set patterns, right? We think in a similar way based on the beliefs that we have designed for ourselves, and we end up responding or reacting to life events in exactly similar way. I'm sure you relate to this because when I was younger, in my early 20s, there was only one response to conflict, and that was anger. That was aggression. And I'm not saying that I've changed my patterns altogether. I think 40% of the times I still do the same because that's what I learned over a period of time. But I have changed myself a lot since last 10 years at least. And now 60 to 70% of the time I'm responding because I've built a certain level of mindfulness in, first of all, recognizing that I do have certain patterns. And the reason why I'm in a position to teach you this today is because I did one thing right. I acknowledged it. I understood that I have a pattern and I need to fix this pattern if I want to be in a better state of mind, remove conflicts from my life, and enjoy life more and be less judgmental about myself and others. Because when you get angry, what happens? When you get angry, you're throwing this anger emotion in form of outburst, in form of this emotional reaction that you give out of people, obviously making the situation go worst. And in a worse situation, you're going to build more of those chemicals, more of stress hormones, more of negative experiences in your body and mind, leading to more stress. Every time I've had an anger response, I have literally felt miserable. And I was like, no, anger is not something that I want to express diligently or I want to be responding to the situation through anger. I think there is another way. And that another way also means that you need to keep your ego aside and look at yourself from a zoom out view and notice that you have a pattern of reacting to stimulus. Now, once you recognize it, it's mindfulness in play in a practical way. Second is, how do I change this response? Next time when the similar event occurs, can I change this response? Okay, let's give it a shot. So becoming mindful of your thoughts that are playing a role underlying in generating that emotional experience is something that you can shift. Why do I get angry? Is because I feel that somebody is taking away my power, that things are not happening the way that I want them to happen. But life never happens that way, right? Your mind is different than my mind. And obviously when we come together, we're going to have a conflict. So keeping the ego aside, becoming mindful of the thoughts that are originating that anger emotion, and then staying with it and asking yourself, is this the only reality? Or can I change this belief? Or can I shift this thought into a more positive one? Can I make this situation better by not reacting and maybe responding? So these kind of little shifts in your thought process are going to subconsciously train your mind to look at the situation with a bigger perspective. Not just give in to the patterns and the way you've been responding, but just take a hold, become mindful of how you're thinking about it, create a different scenario, create a different perspective, and then respond. And each time you do that, you become stronger. Each time you do that, you do have more self-control and self-regulation. And this is what leads to having more control in the way you manage your emotions. And the fourth principle is emotional intelligence, cultivating emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is your ability to respond to life events, to manage your emotions, and also the emotions of others. So I'm coming to the next stage of managing emotions, which is about recognizing other people's emotions when you are dealing with them. Oftentimes, we are engaged in the drama in our own mind, and we never realize what is happening on the other side. What type of emotions or experiences the other person is going through while we are in this drama, while we are in this conflict. And this leads to disturbing the relationship furthermore, because when you're just focused on how am I feeling, then you tend to lose the focus on other person's well-being. Emotional intelligence, when we cultivate with regulation and our ability to understand other people's emotions, we somehow become more mature mentally. We tend to develop stronger relationships, stronger boundaries, and cultivate more happiness in our life, because when we understand that the other person can feel a certain way, which is not dependent on how I feel all the time, because they have their own mindset, they have their own beliefs, they have their own way of processing the information. It is important for me to know where to draw the line. So if you want to cultivate healthy relationships, have great network of people around you, have emotional maturity, start developing a certain type of regulation and putting yourself in other people's shoes, so that you recognize that it's not just about you. The world doesn't revolve around you. When we have conflicts, the other person also go through difficulties, and cultivating this empathy and compassion for other person who is equally participating in what is happening and might also be going through difficulties and painful experiences while they're dealing with you. Right now, in the world that we are existing, empathy, kindness, compassion is the basis of how organizations are looking at their employees, or the way they are building the structure, the culture within the organization. We need to create a space where we can coexist, where we can understand each other, where we help each other grow better and become better, and help them also learn the tools of self-regulation, so that when we come together, we are a team. When we come together, we're not just fighting and arguing and playing the ego drama, but we are helping each other grow. And this is true for all of us, because we're all dealing with people all the time. And being emotionally intelligent allows you to be way more successful in this world, because when we talk about the business growth, when we talk about success, who do we deal with? We deal with people all the time. And if we deal with people all the time, we do have the sense of recognition that the self-regulation is the way to to build healthy relationship, then the chances are that we are going to cultivate more emotional intelligence as well as manage our emotions so that we feel great, we feel healthy, we feel supported, we have more energy, we have more amazing experiences, and thereby cultivating a very successful and joyful living. Hope these principles were relatable to you. Hope you felt that I was speaking your story or I was talking to you directly in terms of what has been experience of your life or the things that you are struggling with, the things that you want to improve upon. If yes, then let me know in the comments below how this discussion and the different principles that I shared can be helpful in your life and build an incredibly happy living for yourself.